All right, Andy, going live on video. Stand by for audio. All right, good day and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another Live the Fuel podcast show. That's right, this evening we are recording not with a new guest co-host, with a repeat guest co-host. And this gentleman has been on multiple times before, helping us learn about the world of pure vitamins, not just vitamins and supplements out there, the purity factor. So we've talked multiple times for these newer listeners who are hearing this today about a brand called Pure Vitamin Club. And a lot of people know that was really heavily connected to the guy out there by the name of Vinnie Tortorich, but we're not talking to him today. We're talking to the other repeat guest co-host from this powerful brand, the man, the myth, the legend, the partner in crime, Andy Schreiber. Welcome back to the show, sir.
Thank you much.
So as I hinted before we started recording, I'm excited to reconnect with you. You guys have been out there hustling, not just obviously in the pure vitamin world, but your pure coffee world, which I'm a customer of both brands. So, and you just got back not too few weeks ago from a very, very hot desert.
Oh my God.
Isn't it like the hottest desert on the planet?
I think it competes with like Oman or, someplace like that.
It's like top three. It's got to be top three.
It's right up there. We were in Death Valley.
There it is.
And we were in the lowest point of Death Valley, a place called Badwater Flats. And actually where the hotel where we stayed is a place called Furnace Creek. And that gives you an idea of what it is. It does feel like
it's hot like a furnace. And the best part is there actually water in that creek?
No, not that I'm aware. It was 120 degrees. And that was not the hottest day on record for that day, like remotely.
I was going to say, I've actually experienced 115 to 100 to 20 degree days when I lived in the Phoenix, Scottsdale area, which is a valley, a very hot valley in Arizona.
Right.
But they're not known for a very infamous race that you gentlemen were sponsoring.
We were sponsoring it. The race is called the Badwater 135. And, just kudos to the 100 people who actually ran this thing. It is what they call an ultra marathon. They run 135 miles, starting at Badwater Flats, which is the lowest elevation point in the Western Hemisphere. It's something like 235 feet below sea level.
Wow.
To the summit trail to Mount Whitney.
So they go from the lowest point to the top of a really, really high mountain and then back down again.
Gosh, am I freezing up again?
Oh, you did just freeze a little bit.
Just for a second. Okay,
yeah.
Let's keep going.
Yeah.
So they only wind up at about 8,500 feet elevation. Okay. But they're doing a couple other passes before then. So they're doing a total of like 14,000 vertical feet of climbing over the course of 135 miles and about 6,000 feet of downhill, which anybody who's run downhill knows that can be as difficult as running uphill.
Does not sound enjoyable at all.
Yeah. In 120 degree heat. And, at night it settles down to, like 102 or something like that. Because they're running, straight through. So they're running, I think the winning racers come in somewhere around 36, 38 hours, something like that.
Wow.
So they're running right through the night and the day. And we were sponsoring it with our new Ultra Salt Electrolyte complex, our Electrolyte replacement capsule.
Oh, you might be referring to this product right here. I bought that as soon as you guys released it. And we are freezing a little bit again. The power of the internet. Let's see if he unfreezes for a second. All right. Hopefully our internet holds out here because we did get a little slowed up. We are unpaused. And as I was about to hold up there, we're talking about your Ultra Salt product that you guys were unveiling and sponsoring with. And while we're at it, let's do a little screen sharing and show this off for our ladies and gentlemen that have never heard of this brand and maybe have never seen it. This is their site. It's purevitaminclub.com.
Yeah.
And you guys obviously have a lot of other brands, but we're specifically talking about the Pure Vitamin Club's Ultra Salt Electrolyte Complex.
Yeah,
So
yeah. This is our newest product. It's only been a couple of months. And for anybody who's done any kind of, even just a regular marathon or a half marathon, knows, or any kind of endurance athletics, if you are not replacing your electrolytes, you are going to suffer. And this is the kind of thing where, you know, everybody used to be told, oh, you're going to be doing a lot of sweating. You need Gatorade is really, you know, it does it have electrolytes? Yeah, it's got some. But it's also got a ton of sugar and, you know, whatever kind of weird chemicals they put in to get that neon yellow or neon green, neon orange color.
yeah, that's definitely not a natural color.
No, those colors, you know, they probably occur in nature somewhere in the flower world or something.
Well, they did at one point until they modified them in a laboratory to make them glow. So
Right. They always make me think of like remember blacklight posters?
Yeah, I remember black light posters, black lights, and then it makes me also think of those emergency sticks that you crack. And
Sure,
like you can
sure.
use for,
Or, you know, if you're like a disco party where you crack them and put them around your neck while you're dancing. Yeah.
yeah, like actually, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, were you guys out on the course at this event? And
No,
were they doing this in the middle of the night at all? Or were you only there during the day?
we were there during the day. What we did is we came up the day before, well, actually like a day and a half before. And then we, as the racers were registering, we were there greeting everybody. They all got 2 bottles of the Ultra Salt prior to the race.
Yeah.
And then they got an additional bottle while there.
Okay. And I'm actually going to bring up the Badwater 135 site just so people can learn more about it. And you can find that at, literally, it's just badwater.com. But they have, I mean, it's just crazy. Like the photographs you guys have are awesome. I mean, just wide open, cracked desert floor from all
Cracked desert floor. Yeah, we went out on immediately after we left the registration table. We had literally met and talked to every last runner. We went to the exact spot where it starts, right at Badwater Flats, and got out of the car. And you've been at 120. It feels like your skin is on fire.
Yeah, it also hits you in the chest for the first like minute or two, right?
Yeah,
yeah. Like you go to take that breath, and you're just like, "Oh my god, this is just constricting."
Yeah. So, and these people are running a 135-mile, course in this. In that heat, they've all got a team that follows them, and they make sure that they've got their water and their whatever kind of snacks they eat along the way, and their electrolyte complex. And these people have used to take another competing product. Like there are a lot of products out there, and there are some good ones.
Oh, I've taken tons of different kinds of electrolytes over the years. I mean, from my background, the only reason why I know Arizona is because I moved out there to serve as a hotshot wildland firefighter. And you guys got a taste of the fires in California all the time. And I mean, that job, it's all about water. It's all about salt. It's all about electrolytes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I wish I had this product back then. I used to take like powder packets and dump them down my throat and chase it with water.
Wow.
It wasn't very classy, but it worked.
No, look, it works. And it was really cool because we sent everybody 2 bottles, like 6 weeks before so that they could train with it, because we knew nobody's going to want to try a new product on race day.
Yeah, that's actually a great pause on that. Anybody who's into athletics, that's a great tip that Andy just shared with you. You don't just change up your regime and your supplementation process within like a week or 2 of an event. It's just a big no-no.
Yeah. That's just never a good idea.
No.
So we made sure that they all had them well in advance. And, we got the most 6 weeks out. They said, no, I didn't want to, so close. Oh, that's all right. But I would say like 96 of the racers, of the runners had been using it, and they all kind of raved about it, including, I was so proud of this. And we were able to get this on Instagram. There's one guy, his name was Martin. He's a professor of chemistry at the University of Illinois.
Yes, that was a great video.
Yeah, he's a PhD in chemistry, and he said, oh, this is interesting when he got it in the mail. And he looked at the ingredients, and he said, you guys did this right. You have the balance exactly right of sodium to potassium. And he got it that we used the alkaline forms of everything in there to give you the best results, keep you from cramping, and also settle your stomach, which is why we used in our formula our potassium, because the electrolytes, just to back up, electrolytes are basically salt, which is your sodium primarily, and the chloride, and then your potassium, magnesium, calcium, and manganese.
Oh, so that's why you put potassium. That was for the stomach factor?
Well, it's the type of potassium that we use. So we use potassium. Well, we use two. We use potassium glycinate, which is a really stable, highly absorbable form. And then we use potassium bicarbonate, and it's the bicarbonate that really sort of calms the stomach. It's like the classic remedy when you have stomach problems. You take a bicarbonate of soda.
Yeah. Well, when it comes to
sodium bicarbonate, but this is potassium bicarbonate, and it has the same effect.
Yeah, when it comes to endurance sports, I could speak to this because I'm an endurance athlete. Like Vinnie and I have a lot in common. I didn't realize it just because of my background. Obviously, I'm younger, but I've done multi 100+ mile road cycling events. I've done the marathon, the half marathons. I'm not an ultra guy, and actually last weekend I just tried my first triathlon. So I'm a big fan of your Ultra Salt. So it's a quality product. I've noticed
it's a great product. And we actually I don't know if you know this, we just signed on to sponsor another event.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you got?
And this was brought to our attention by a customer who wrote us on our support at purevitaminclub.com email address and said, hey guys, I know you just sponsored Badwater. There is this event in a place called Exeter, California, which is kind of east of Visalia. It's like smack dab in the middle of the state, kind of, but in a very hot area. And it's called the Hell of a Half Marathon.
Hell of a half?
It's a half marathon, but they call it Hell of a Half because it's in, extreme heat. Well, it'll be 100 degrees. No, it won't be 120, but it'll be 100 degrees. And it's done as a fundraiser for something called the Elisa Ann Roosh Burn Foundation.
Wow.
And it was interesting when I saw that because I actually have a personal connection to that, in that Elisa Ann Roosh was a little girl back in 1970 who was horribly burned and unfortunately died from a backyard barbecuing accident. And this foundation was started by her parents. And her father was actually the rabbi who bar mitzvahed me.
Get out of here.
Our family rabbi, and this was like less than a year after my bar mitzvah. I was like 13 when this happened. So I have the connection to that charity and that history, and so I saw this as we got to do this. So I spoke with the organizer, and we were coming on kind of late, but we came on as a sponsorship. It's a much bigger event in terms of participation. Badwater has 100 people running. This has 900 people running.
Oh, that's definitely a bigger event.
Yeah, it's a much bigger event, and it's a more of a community event. Whereas Badwater people coming from all over the world. Here, this really is people from that part of the state.
Okay. Yeah, I did some searching real quick. I found the Hell of a Half Marathon, the road less traveled.
Yes.
August 18th, Exeter, California, and I found the Facebook event for the event right there.
Yeah.
So it's actually a host.
Fast, mister.
Yeah, it's not my first rodeo.
You are fast. So yeah, we are sponsoring that.
Very cool.
Which is very, very cool. So Vinnie and I are actually going to go up there. If anybody's hearing this before that date and you're in the area, there are still some spots. If anybody wants to, jump into a half marathon in 100-degree heat. Vinnie and I will be there on race day.
I'll have to check the lineup. I'm going to see if I could bump you up a little bit to give you guys a little bit more exposure for this, because I think events like this, when you're doing it for a good cause, it's the way it should be done. The triathlon I just tried last weekend was for also a not-for-profit for the Pass It Along organization. So it's like I don't mind spending money when I know it's going to a good cause. So.
Well, exactly. So, we were really happy to jump on board as one of the key sponsors.
Yeah.
So that's 2 weeks from today. We're driving up there. That'll be a lot of fun.
So you're setting up your
it's kind of more
tent and everything.
I'm sorry?
You'll be setting up your pop-up tent and all that. Like you
I
guys
don't know. We might actually bring the pop-up tent. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, a little branding recognition never hurt.
Nothing wrong with that. I don't mind doing a little brand recognition and brand building while we're also supporting a good cause.
I'm just wondering if they keep the same design every year for their medal, but because they do, this is pretty swanky. I love a good medal.
That's nice.
That's the one from 2015. They got like the blazing sun there, the arching. Yeah. That's really sharp.
That is nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be fun. I don't know that part of the state at all.
Really? And you're well, I mean, obviously California is huge. I've driven through it multiple times. It's massive.
Yeah. California is huge, but I've never had a reason to go to this particular part of the state, and I'm looking forward to it.
Well, what else is really close to that? Like what's a major city?
Probably you've heard of Bakersfield and you've heard of Fresno, most likely.
Yep.
This is kind of on a north-south spectrum, like halfway between those, and then east an hour.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's really kind of in the middle of nowhere.
Well, I love the fact we're giving these guys a shout out, and I'm going to do one more screen share again because their logo is much sharper here.
Yeah, that's nice.
Just super. I mean, again, everything about this logo. See, I'm a branding guy. I got to geek for real quick. The whole logo is red. There's flames all around a hell of a half marathon. There's a blazing sun behind the mountain peaks. It's clearly a hot event.
Yeah, that is what they're communicating pretty clearly.
The good thing is they're not hiding it. They're not going to like surprise anybody.
No, even the name of it, that they're making a little play on words, and it's fun.
Yeah.
And the organizer is a super nice guy. So we're super excited about that. That's something we're going to do more and more of, because with this ultra salt product, the other brands that are out there for electrolytes. This one is so far ahead of all of them. We really want to make this the go-to brand for electrolytes.
It's not just electrolytes; it's your entire product line, which is, by the way, right there. So
there they are.
My latest resupply just arrived. So
excellent.
I'm all racked out here. So yeah, I mean, obviously, ladies and gentlemen, they got their multi-cap. You got their B12 sublingual, mind you. You put it right under your tongue. I'm also using the magnesium was the first product I ever tried, just to help you remember this, to help my fiance's sleeping habits. And then my latest fave before the Ultra Salt was your D3. The
D3 is such an awesome product.
D3 with the K complex, nailed it. And most importantly, because, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to show you this on the video cam. Again, this is for the YouTube feed, but this one little vitamin I'm holding up has got this beautiful yellow tinge because these vitamins are fat soluble, meaning, and most importantly, because Andy, myself, Vinny, shout out to Anna Vocino as well. We all love a company called Villa Capelli. That's right, Italian olive oil. You guys put freaking Italian olive oil in your vitamins.
You have no idea how hard it was to find a factory that would work with us on that, because they said, "Oh, you want to bring in your own oil?" No.
I know, I love it. It's like, well, listen, this is what we want. So if you want our money,
it cost us all. I can tell you, it cost us a lot more to do it that way.
So I got real quick. So do you guys? I love behind the scenes info. It's fun for the audience. So do you guys have to have like a whole pallet or a skid of the tins of olive oil shipped from like right to the factory, and they just hide it in the corner until they need it, or are you guys getting drums
pretty
of this?
Much, yeah. We, the factory tells us, okay, if you're gonna, if we're gonna do a run of 10,000 units, we need X number of liters of olive oil.
Okay.
And then Stephen Crutchfield, our friend at Villa Capelli.
Shout out to Steve.
It's a company run by two guys, Paul Capelli and Stephen Crutchfield, and I'll just get on the phone or on the internet with Stephen and say, Stephen, I need, this many liters, and he ships it right to the factory.
So do they drop ship it in the same 3-liter tins that we get?
I believe so. Yeah.
They've never done this before. You're the first company to ever do this ever. Yeah. So I don't think their assembly line or their packaging.
They just drop ship the 3-liter tins.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense to me.
Yeah, and then the factory, uses those. It's called, the industry term is called tolling the oil. It's tolled, meaning it's brought in from the outside.
Is it spelled like, like storytelling, like told, TOLD?
No, TOLLED.
Oh, interesting. I learned a new word today. Okay.
Yeah, told. So yeah, we did that, and we finally were able to find a factory that would work with us the way we wanted to, and I was very, very happy to do that. And I, of course, took a tour of the factory. I won't work with the factory if I can't see it.
I'm jealous.
And I got to tell you, if you ever have a chance, if you're out here, I will take you to that factory. It is the coolest thing, because it's a complete.
I love the behind the scenes stuff, like to see how it all happened.
I love it. I love that. And it's a very different process from like dry capsules. It's a completely different manufacturing process.
Well, you guys have technically 3 different processes going on, because your B12 is the sublingual. That's pressed. That's pressed together. You have obviously the olive oil capsule, that's also still a vegetable-based capsule, right?
No, that is not a vegetable-based capsule.
So what is that?
That is a gelatin capsule.
Oh, that's a gelatin capsule. And then obviously like the ultra salt, that's a vegetable capsule.
That is vegetable capsule. So we have our 3 products that are in vegetable capsules are the ultra salt, the magnesium, and the daily multicap.
Yeah. Those
are all in the vegetable capsule. The B12 is a completely vegan product. The D3 is just not a vegan product. It's never going to be a vegan product, because D3 is made from lanolin, which is the oil in sheep's wool.
Yeah.
That's where D3 comes from. And so there's no point in trying to make it vegan. So we use the gelatin capsule, which is actually the best way, and it dissolves the best for that kind of what they call a soft gel, which is the squishy oil-filled capsules.
Well, and that's what you're looking for, right? Like you're looking for the best quality you can get. You're not always going to make everybody happy, right? But
no.
I mean, honestly, yeah, the hardcore vegan following, they're not going to like that.
This is not a product for them. We have talked about coming out with a vegan vitamin D product later, but right now, to make the best vitamin D, because vitamin D3 is just from lanolin, is the best form of D3 for supplementation. It just is. And
also I'm hearing is that they're just going to shave the hair. They just give them a haircut and then they make it, right? I mean,
that's right.
So you're not killing any animals. So
no,
it doesn't sound that bad. So
no, and somebody gets some nice sweaters out of the deal too.
There you go.
Yes.
So ladies and gentlemen, I mean, for the newer listeners, I have to pause real quick because I just realized I've had Andy on a few times. So everything he's telling you about, this is really easy for me because, number one, I host the show, so he's been on multiple times. I remember all of our episodes. But for the newer listeners who don't know, you could just go to livethefield.com, hit my search box, and just plug in his name, Andy Schreiber, or just type in like SCHREIBER. You're going to bring up all of his show history because he goes back to, oh God, I launched in September 2016. So the first episode was episode 24. Talking about the launch of Pure Vitamin Club on November 18th, 2016. Then you came back on again on episode 84 in June of 2017, June 16th. That one's called Pure Vitamin Club's B12 launch, olive oil vitamins. We were talking about the hint, the coming of the olive oil vitamin, which was fun. Then we had you on episode 134 for Pure Coffee Club. But even on there, I think we ended up still geeking out a little bit about vitamins as well.
Probably so, yeah.
So there is a good amount of history for you guys to catch up a little bit on the other product lines as well. So don't worry, or just really simply just go to purevitaminclub.com and you'll get everything you need there. So I just want to make sure people know that because you and I are just talking about this like it's no big deal because we've done this so many times.
Yeah.
So now,
and it's good because you enjoy the geeking out on the details as much as I do.
Well, I think it's important. See, here's the thing. I've been a health and fitness nut for a long time. I mean, I don't have Vinnie beat, but the point here is over time, you eventually learn too much.
Yeah.
Years ago, I just went to like GNC, Vitamin Shop. I didn't know any better. I was a classic magazine reading, beginner athlete, thinking that I could trust the articles, trust the write-ups. They're being published by supposedly reputable companies like Rodale. Who publish, Men's Health, Women's Health, all these magazines, Bicycling Magazine. And then you dig a little deeper over the years and you also experiment like I did. And you realize, man, there's just some stuff that just doesn't feel right in my body.
That's right.
And when you find good stuff like you guys have done, your body totally doesn't feel anything because it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. You're not getting the weird side effects.
Right.
So, and that's unfortunately, that's a thing that people have to be worried about nowadays is, I'm not going to trash a specific vitamin company, but listen to your body. As you get healthier, your body gets more sensitive. It's talking to you. And
that's right.
If you're getting things like gut rot or constipation, for example, number one, that's tied to your gut bacteria.
Right.
But this is a serious thing you might want to look at. What are you supplementing with? How are your supplements made? What's in your supplements?
One of the interesting comments we got from one of the runners, a woman at Badwater, she came up to us and said, "Oh my God," she said, "I've been doing this these ultra sports for years, and I take an electrolyte, like a salt capsule of sorts, and I always wind up on a long run puking at some point, and I always figured that's the salts, and it's part of what I have to put up with, so I just make sure that I've got plenty of water to hydrate myself because I know I'm going to puke." She said, I've been using yours this last month, and for the first time, I'm not puking.
Yeah,
these long runs.
Which that's it can be that simple. Sometimes you just I told literally a guy that I was coaching today. I said, "Listen, man," I was like, "Listen, I know he's excited. He's signing up for these events and stuff." And I said, "Listen, don't go crazy and change everything all at once." He's like, "Well, why?" I was like, if you've already living a relatively healthy lifestyle to what you think is healthy, if you start changing everything all at once, you don't know what's working.
That's right.
Right? So sometimes you want to change one or two things at a time, give it like a month or two and see how the body's responding. Because to your point, right? Like it sounds like all she did was change one thing or
That's all
things.
she did.
Yeah.
That's the only change she made, and it made all the difference. She just said, "I'm never going back." That's unbelievable.
Yeah. And that's powerful, right? Because somebody who's trying to be healthy, she's trying to be fit, she's doing these extreme events like Badwater 135. I mean, got me beat.
It's just, I don't so much anymore just because I don't have the time, but I used to do centuries on the bike.
Yeah.
I know what it is to do, a long event like that.
That was before your back got all jacked up, right?
No, it's not even the back that got jacked up. It's running a company or two. Because to do a century, you've got to be out there.
Andy, on this show, you're in the wrong audience. We talk about life balance.
I know.
You got to get out once in a while, my friend.
I know.
I mean, you do have a dog that helps.
I do.
Dog does help with life balance. So.
Yeah, it does. It does. She's on the floor next to me asleep.
Yeah, Calvin was in here earlier today during a webinar, but his leg is bothering him, so he's out there laying in the living room right now. So,
all right.
I think Kristen just got home. She's going to be medicating him. So,
yeah.
But so listen, the other point of bringing you on, I want to make sure we don't skip over this.
This is big news.
Talk about at the beginning of the show, you guys are finally getting, or I'm sorry, how do I say this in a positive way? The UK or the EU is finally showing you the love, and you're finally going to get this launched overseas?
Yes.
Okay.
Here's the deal. Here's in a short, I don't want to elaborate on this story. We've been trying to get Pure Vitamin Club UK going for over 2 years.
Yeah, we've talked about it.
It has been like a comedy of errors. Every single factor that could go against us has gone against us. It was first, our biggest hurdle was getting a bank account.
Yeah.
So we filed the articles of incorporation with the government agency that handles registering companies. In the UK, it's called Companies House. That's the government bureau. So we did that. We got it all done. We had an attorney. We got accountants. We got everything. And okay, now we just need to get a bank account.
Right.
It took us over a year just to get a bank account. We weren't asking for a loan. We weren't asking for a line of credit. We just wanted to open a bank account. But we had directors, Vinnie and me, who were not UK residents. And that was a big hurdle. I actually at one point got really close with one of the major banks there. And they said, "Yep, everything is good. The application is good. Everything is approved. You just need to come and sign documents in person, and you need to bring, your proof of citizenship, all these kind of things," right? Mm-hmm. So I go over there, and I, make the trip, and I made a couple other arrangements for some meetings while I was over there as well. I show up on a like Tuesday morning at the bank. with my scheduled appointment, and the woman sits down in her office and she says, "I'm so sorry, the underwriters just came and they said they can't do it." I said,
After you've already spent all this money traveling over there.
"Yeah." I said, "We talked yesterday and you said we were good to go." She said, "Yeah, I know. They just called. They just emailed me this morning. They declined it." And I said, "Well, can I talk to them?" "Nope, I'm the only person you can talk to, and we can't do it."
Okay.
Okay. So
How are you supposed to respond to that?
I was, what do you do?
Yeah.
So we wound up getting an account. A friend of mine from over there said, "Try this bank, this little bank." And I'm going to give them a shout out. They're called Triodos Bank, Triodos.
Wow.
It's a tiny little boutique bank that specializes in companies that have a socially conscious mission.
Huh.
So part of the application with them is, in what way is your company benefiting society?
Okay.
So I explained to them in my application, we're, providing a healthy product that nobody else is providing. And they said, "Good enough for us." And they gave us an account.
Really?
So,
that was the easy part?
That was the easy part, was getting the account. Yeah, we still had to show the other stuff, and we had, some hoops, but it really wasn't hard.
Wow.
Then anybody who has ever worked in e-commerce knows there are a couple other pieces you have to have in place. You have to have what's called a payment gateway, which is the third-party credit card authorization, basically, that collects that information, verifies that your credit card or your debit card that you're paying with is valid, and communicates with your site to authorize and then pull the money out of somebody's credit card and direct it to your bank.
Okay.
So we talked to every single payment gateway out there, and for one of them, you've got to be in the UK. One of them was, we as a company, we don't work with nutraceuticals, any kind of nutritional supplements. That's a category we won't do.
Okay.
Or you're using third-party fulfillment. You're not, shipping directly from your company. You're using a third party to do your shipping. We don't do that. It was, you've got to have a UK-based bank card, and we don't. And the bank, this Triodos Bank, with their business accounts, you don't get any kind of a bank card. So that didn't work. Anyway, we finally got a payment gateway that, after months, we have to show them this, we have to show them the website, we have to show them an unbelievable amount of information.
Wow.
They finally approved us. We have a fulfillment house that, when I was over there getting turned down by the bank, I was able to meet with this great fulfillment house, what we call a pick, pack, and ship facility.
Yep.
That will do the shipping for us to the customers. They're based outside of London, right by Heathrow Airport, the main airport for London. And so we're good to go. Anybody effective September 1st can order from purevitaminclub.co.uk and get it shipped anywhere in Europe.
Now, is that site already live so people can follow it, or how's that working?
The site is live. The only thing that you cannot do on it is actually order anything, because that structure is not set up yet and the product is not over there. So next week I'm shipping, hundreds and hundreds of bottles of vitamins are getting shipped over to the UK. We're shipping it. We're not manufacturing over there. We're shipping product from here, from California.
It's literally an identical version of your site.
Yeah.
Okay, but are you actually hitting
our site? Except it's in the prices will be in sterling.
Okay,
and in euros. It'll depend on if you're logging in from France or from Germany or from Hungary. Mm-hmm. You'll get the price in euros, and it'll be just the system will actually in real time translate whatever the price is in pounds to euros.
Okay. And right there, you got there, ordering available September 1st, 2018.
September 1st, yeah.
So is this a mirrored version of your site, or is it literally two separate websites you have to
They're two entirely separate websites. We actually built this one using a different platform, which we're going to switch our US site. After we see how this one goes for the first month, we're going to switch our US site, purevitaminclub.com, over to this platform because it's an easier platform to work with. I'll be able to do more stuff myself, and Dylan will be able to help with stuff that right now we have to go to our web developers, for the smallest thing to change because it's such a kind of a cumbersome platform that we're using.
Yeah, that's kind of how, like, I manage my fiance's company's site, my site. I prefer sites. I tell my clients that too. I'm like, guys, when it comes to managing your brand, you want to be able to, if you wanted to, you want to have at least a majority, 80-90% of the stuff. You could do it if you wanted to, but then,
right.
But then it's your decision. Okay, what is my time worth? Let's outsource this to that pro or that professional, whatever. But if you're 100% dependent on a web person, you can't do the slightest little, like, what if you find a quick spelling error? Well,
right. I can't change that right now.
Yeah, that's
in the new platform, which is it's called WooCommerce, and it works with WordPress.
I'm already playing with it.
And that's what the UK site is.
Yeah.
So
one of my
clients
from
the ground up that way.
Yeah, one of my clients is actually, we've already installed WooCommerce on her site, and we're currently playing around with the design of it right now.
Yeah, we're using WooCommerce for Pure Coffee Club.
Okay.
And I love that because I can do a lot of stuff myself. I can add blog articles. I can do all sorts of stuff myself.
Nice.
I can modify some, subscriptions that on request in a way that we're fixing so that we can do that in Pure Vitamin Club too. But it's just going to be easier. So that's coming later. But right now we're just like super excited that we're getting purevitaminclub.co.uk going.
I'm excited.
Yeah, and I'm going to head over there probably like late September, early October, just because I've already been to the pick, pack, and ship facility. But once we have product in there and stuff is going through, I want to go over there and have a nice meeting and make sure that I'm liking the way things are being done.
So, I mean, I've got listeners in on the island there, also over in EU. So the full footprint availability, is this just the UK? Like where is what countries?
It's the UK,
right?
All of the EU, and there are a couple of countries that are not technically EU, but are in that sort of European trading group. So I think Norway is not technically EU. Switzerland is not technically EU. So those countries will still be able to. So it's basically, virtually all of Europe.
And Switzerland's a very healthy country. Actually, let's be real. Most of the other countries are healthier than us. So
yeah.
That's a whole different podcast.
So, countries like Andorra are not technically EU, but you can, if you happen to have any Andorran listeners.
I'll have to go back and look at my map and see where my downloads are at.
Yeah.
I forgot that country existed. How big is that country? That's got to be small.
It is tiny. It's not the smallest. It's not the smallest. I don't know if the smallest is Vatican City.
I think so.
It's either like Vatican City or Monaco.
Yeah. Because, I mean, technically they're cities, but they exist as a country.
They exist as a country, yeah.
It's kind of like the whole Washington, D.C. thing here. Like, it's our capital. Right. It's technically a city, but it's its own thing.
It's its own thing. It's not a state. It's its own little district.
It's its own district,
But it's the same thing with like Monaco and San Marino and Vatican City. Yeah.
No, this is exciting, man. I mean, again, we're recording this in August right now, and this is going to air in August. So we're going to have this puppy up before you guys even launch for the UK. So this is really exciting. This will be,
it's been 2 years plus in the making.
Well, yeah, I think last time we chatted, or maybe 2 times ago, we had a timeline. Like, you were like, "Oh yeah," I guess, like, we got to get you back on when you get ready to launch, and then we never did. And I was like, whatever happened to that?
It's just because one thing after another, I would think we were really close, and then they'd come back and say, no, we can't do it because, this, that, and the other reason.
But you know what? This is a great lesson in general. Like, people just assume that companies launch and everything is hunky-dory. And it's like, you guys have no idea the amount of sweat equity that goes into some of this stuff. And you can't plan for everything. So,
no, you can't. And, we already spent the money developing the site because as I was just saying, we built it, even though it looks the same, we built it on a whole new platform. So it took probably almost as much money to build as to build it, if it were a first time.
Yeah, but the beauty is, the good thing is, like, you weren't going to stop. You guys knew you're going to launch. You're going to find a way to make it happen.
There's no question. We were not going to let that beat us.
I love the hustle because it's like, guys, well, you like it or not, we're going to keep moving forward. Site's ready. Let's get the social media updated. Let's get the branding updated. Let's start working with the marketing people to figure out how our marketing footprint's going to look across all these different countries. Keep moving forward, greasing the wheels. And then when that happens, boom, you're ready to rock.
And that's where we are now is, we're working on our marketing plan. We're working on social media platform. We're trying to set up some meetings with some kind of celebrity spokespeople over there who can, help us promote the brand.
There you go. Yeah. And that's the other thing. That's going to be the next phase is like you have to start studying, or your marketing people need to be familiar with how different cultures do use things like social media, right? Because they learn in a different way, and their cultures and the American way is not always the right way. So
that's right.
Yeah.
You may not know this, but we are actually making inroads in another country as well.
Ooh.
But we're not doing it quite the same way. We're making inroads in China.
That I do know. Yes, I did hear that. But because honestly, what is a bigger market? And due to their unfortunate, very industrialized city, they need help. I mean, the pollution over there is
need
terrible.
Help, and they actually really love. It's a nice thing to know that the Chinese people look to products made in the USA to be, that those are going to be great products.
Yeah.
So they're out there looking for American-made products especially in this kind of an arena, in the health products area.
You are correct. The Asian markets, especially China, but the Asian markets in general are always open to health supplementation.
Yeah,
I think those countries they respond faster and sooner than we do because we get slowed down by regulation and stuff like that. But I love the Asian culture because Eastern medicine, man, it's like guys,
they understand the benefit of this sort of thing.
Yeah.
So what we've done, I'm working with an old buddy of mine from when I was in the film business, because he's known in that kind of independent film area as like the guide for Asia. If you need to know what's going on in the Asian markets in film and television, this was the guy you'd go to. And he's a buddy of mine.
Okay.
And he said, look, that business is getting so hard with the kind of independent product he's always worked with. He wanted to branch out. So he's working with me on getting things into a number of markets over there, but primarily China right now. And he's got a partner who's on the ground in China. And what they've done that's a little bit different is they have kind of primed the pump with a whole network of fitness trainers.
Mm.
So we have primed the pump by, they bought, quite a lot of units to give to these fitness trainers, and they're kind of setting them up as little mini affiliates.
Nice.
So right now we're waiting for the first kind of big order because they're going to come in and say, okay, now we've got these, couple thousand fitness trainers. Mm-hmm. Let's get them all. They're all going to be promoting Pure Vitamin Club.
It's smart because they're already looked at as an influencer. They already have their own niche of following.
Right.
And personal trainers, no matter what country you're in, don't always make a ton of money. So their other income streams usually do fall into what can they cross market, or what is something that they're promoting that they either use or they recommend for their clients. So
right. So that's because otherwise it can be really, really tough to.
Well, pardon that quick little delay there. But yeah, you're about to say it was really tough and we just
it can be really tough to penetrate that market and create a presence for yourself.
Okay.
So that's why we came up with this plan of working with the fitness trainers who all have their sphere of influence, both online and in person.
Yeah.
And from there, once you get kind of a buzz going, it spreads like wildfire. We hope that's the plan. And eventually, we'll go on to Alibaba.
Oh, wow. That's
Alibaba, for those who don't know, is like the Chinese version of Amazon.
Yeah, way bigger. I mean, Amazon has taken off, but Alibaba has been around way longer. I mean, that's huge. That's huge.
Yeah, so that's the goal. We hope like in a year to be on Alibaba.
Well, the one thing that I remember from some of our first episodes together when talking about this brand or even the coffee club brand is that you and Vinny play it smart. You're taking the necessary steps. I mean, some companies would look at this and be like, you guys are taking too long. I would have blown this up by now. But like, because you guys care about these brands and you care about these products, you're building something sustainable and long lasting.
Right.
And that's, I respect that.
Look, there are a couple things. We started, very, very small. I mean, our first manufacturing run was literally 1,000 bottles.
Yeah.
It was, tiny. And we didn't want ever to, be borrowing money or taking on investors. We wanted everything to be self-funding, and every bit of growth had to be self-funding. And every time that we, kind of stretched a little bit and then maybe, constricted our cash flow a little bit, we pulled back in certain areas to adjust. And then, when we could, then we would add another product, do the kind of thing that takes a little bit of more expenditure.
Right.
But we wanted, our mantra has been, we will never make any move that, should it fail, wipes us out. Any move we make has to be sustainable as a 100% loss. And
that's a lot to calculate, because every time you launch a new product, that's a big leap. Every time you launch
there's a lot of money that goes into, R&D on the product, and then packaging and design and promotion, and then, manufacturing. Because, you start out, you manufacture, 10,000 units or whatever it is. Then you don't know how it's going to sell, before you start. And then you got money in inventory.
Well, especially you guys too, because you're like the B12, you had to buy your own piece of equipment for that, because you guys patented something that no one's else done before to create that sublingual.
Yeah, we just had to create a new die for a big machine. Yeah. And with the when we went into the D3, which was, again, it's a more complicated manufacturing process to do the oil-filled soft gels than it is to do the dry capsules.
Oh yeah.
We had to do a bigger order, commit to it, and it's got a long lead time. So we had to, literally within 2 weeks after launch, we had to plan on another big order, so that by the time that got done, we wouldn't have gone through the first. Yeah. All that stuff stretches your cash flow. You have to plan for that.
Yep. And now from an operational standpoint, you and your team have to then look at things. Each product has its own little product timeline, from the manufacturing perspective to the delivery perspective and all of that design. Everything's got their own timeline because they're different products. So
right.
Yeah, that's wild. That's crazy.
Yeah. It's totally fun though. And we probably do it. We're probably nowhere near as detailed as a larger company. And we do take, some risks with these things, but as I said, with marketing, with promotions, like with this, and it's not a huge investment we're making in this hell of a half marathon or in Badwater, but we wouldn't have done anything like that if we couldn't afford to lay that out, not knowing what it's going to bring back.
Well, look at Badwater. You had 100 racers. You shipped 2 bottles to each participant ahead of time. So right there, you're already putting out 200 bottles of product that you're not making money on. It's an investment in product exposure. But usually, ultra athletes, they're really hardcore with the supplementation, and right. I guarantee you guys probably haven't tested it yet. But it'd be interesting to see the new client retention you gained from that. And
you know what? It's anything like that. It's not necessarily just those 100 people either. So an event like Badwater, a lot of people follow it. A lot of people know. Let me see if I can pull this out. I've got this behind me. We did a beautiful ad. I don't know if you'll be able to
the magazine. Vinnie had a short clip that I put on his Instagram. I loved it.
If you can see the kind of the ad that we did.
Yeah, that was a great ad. That looked great.
It was a great looking ad. I don't know how many people, a few thousand people get that.
Yeah. And whoever did that, by the way, quick little tip, I would see if you can get the magazine company or whoever did the ad to send you the digital PDF of that.
I've got it.
Yeah. If you have that, then I would actually integrate that into your site somewhere, or call it your publicity or your press page.
Yeah. We absolutely are going to do that.
Where Pure Vitamin Club is now. I don't know.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's something that is on the to-do list.
Yeah. So this is cool. Well, listen, as usual, we wrap the mics here pretty strong, and we're coming to the end of the show here. So Ultra Salt, like I said, ladies and gentlemen, I'm a consumer. My fiance, she loves her salt as an athlete as well. We both love Ultra Salt. We're both using it. and absolutely big fan. Actually, I already hinted earlier in the show, I literally have a bottle of every product here. So I use.
Can I just give a quick shout out to the actual salt that's in Ultra Salt?
Yes.
Which is it's called Redmond Real Salt.
Yep.
And it's like it's the equivalent of like a Himalayan pink sea salt, except better because it doesn't come from the Himalayas, which means Afghanistan and Pakistan, basically. It comes from Utah. And they mine it in a better way than is done because in the Himalayas, they blast mine it.
Right.
Here I forget what the process is called. It's like imagine a cherry picker, those kind of tractors with the big arm thing, with a big.
It's like it's a scissor lift. They're going up on the scissor lift.
And it's got a big metal ball with like these hooks on it, and they literally scrape the salt off of the walls of the mine. Vinny and I went to the mine. We spent a day in the salt mines, and they take the salt out, and that's all they do to it, other than grinding it at different levels.
Yep. Yeah, these guys are legit. I mean, that's one thing I appreciate about this. I'm sharing their site now, ladies and gentlemen. If you've never heard of Redmond Real Salt, I mean, honestly, just go to realsalt.com, because I've been to Utah. I've hiked there. I've biked there. I've rock climbed there. And I never knew. I know about the Salt Lake City, right? You got a big salty lake. No clue. Never realized it. So
here's the thing. What people don't know about salt, and a lot of people, I get sea salt. I get kosher salt. I get coarse salt. If you're getting salt and it's white, you're getting A, it's been bleached. B, it's been derived by taking seawater and evaporating it. And what's left is the salt. Okay. So all of the kind of good mineral content is gone. When you get the pink sea salt, like the Himalayan or this, it's from ancient deposits. So basically these are seabeds or oceans that dried up millennia ago. Millions of years ago, there was an ocean where in what is now Utah.
Yep.
And it's those deposits that have been sitting there for, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of years. And it is packed with trace minerals. So they're not bleaching it. And when I say bleaching, when you see salt, it has been bleached, literally bleached. This is they're not doing anything of the sort to it. And those pink colors come from the trace minerals. There are like over 60 trace minerals in this stuff. And
there's even like little black flakes too, which are just other minerals.
That's other minerals. Yeah. Different minerals have different colors. What was really interesting, it can be ground to different levels. If you're going to use it, for your food, you might want to use coarse or whatever. But for us, we did the finest grind, which is a powder. So it's like the consistency of, it's finer than that when they say fine salt there.
Yeah.
We go fine. It's
literally almost like a powder.
Not almost. It looks like baby powder, except, and we did this out at the mine. We took a handful of it in our palm out into the sun, and even in that kind of baby powder form, if you looked at it from an angle, you could see the glints of like crystals.
Okay, but even at that, here we go, like almost like this.
Yeah.
Wow, powder salt.
Yeah.
They call
powder. It is a powder, but if you hold that powder up in the sun, you will see the little glinty kind of crystals.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
And honestly, I don't really shop for powder salt
because it's the best tasting salt.
Well, and believe me, I joke around because I recently had my 23andMe done with Dr. Anthony J. He took the raw data file and analyzed it, and he said at my genetic level, I actually, number one, just like Vinny, genetically, I have the markers to be an endurance athlete, which makes sense because I've always leaned towards endurance sports. But also, I process coffee and salts faster. So
there you go.
So he's like, Sky, number one, electrolytes and salts, yes, and feel free to enjoy your coffee. I was like, that's perfect.
That's good news. Yeah. For those of us who love coffee. Yeah.
Well, and for you guys, I'm a customer for life.
Yeah. Well, there you go. But yeah, I love the red, and those guys were so nice to us when Vinny and I went out there to, we got a tour of the mine. It was awesome.
Well, that's another great product, right? Because you already were a made in the USA company. But it's like, man, you're literally sourcing your salts right here in the US of A.
Right here in Utah.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Well, you know what? We would have gone anywhere in the world to get the best salt, but we wanted to make sure that what we put in the ultra salt was the best thing there was. And we compared everything. We looked at the Himalayan pink sea salt. And we looked at everything. This salt from Utah is the best there is.
Well, and that's the beauty. Like literally, we're finishing up. We have a couple of salt shakers, and I as soon as that last pink Himalayan sea salt's gone, I'm ordering this. So
you're gonna love it. It tastes better. I'm telling you, it tastes better than the Himalayan.
Now, I will admit, I do have some other specialty salts in my cabinet now because I heard you guys talking about it with Anna from Villa Capelli. So I've got like a red wine salt in there and a couple other ones. So those are, I don't know how they make theirs, but
yeah.
I did score some of those Italian salts. They're tasty.
Oh, you got it. You know what? Hold on, Dylan. If Dylan is here, I was gonna have him bring over because I brought back from the mine. I brought back a rock.
Oh, is this the one like Vinnie sucks on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except I brought home a bigger one. It's like so big.
How much does a big rock of salt go for?
I don't know because he
probably just gave it to you.
Well, the great thing was we were in the mine. And he was showing us, so imagine just a big old mine around you, big giant walls. And I picked up this giant rock off the floor of the mine.
Yeah.
And we're kind of looking at it, and he said, "Yeah, take that if you want." Yeah.
So like, it's a paperweight.
I'm gonna just walk over the table. Hold on one second.
Yeah.
I get the rock. Here we go. Hang on. Here we go.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Look at this thing. Back it up here.
You got a serious chunk of salt.
It is a serious chunk of salt. Look at this.
And that's legitimately pink.
It is legitimately pink, and I don't know if you can't probably see it as well because of the light.
I can see the dark colorations.
The dark streaks and the flecks in there. And different colors make different minerals in there make different shades. And that's how it gets that way. And if you literally you can lick this.
Well, the best part is what you're showing us right now. They sell them in that form, but so you ever hear of salt licks for like
beer? Yeah.
Well, they're really popular also for equine because obviously my fiance never told me this, even though she's an equine horse vet. But like when you Google Redmond salt rocks, there's a Redmond right here. Here's a Redmond rock with a rope around it, and there's a picture of a horse on the logo. So this is the company in Utah for equine nutrition.
Yeah.
Using those big rocks. I think it's hilarious. So it's not just good for horses. It's good for us too.
It's delicious. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, there's a picture probably in one of their mines.
Yeah. That's exactly what it looks like. We went in there.
Yeah. That's wild. See, this is so cool. I love it.
Yeah. We went into that. I think we went into that actual entry.
Yeah.
It was so cool.
Well, and again, it's one of those memories like you'll never forget. It's like you're not just like starting a cool company and creating pure products, but it's like you got all these cool experiences along the way. So,
well, we talked about that a little bit. We won't put something out if we don't know what is exactly going into it. So, we've been to Costa Rica to visit the coffee plantation and the coffee processing plant. And, we visited all the roasters that we thought about working with for that. And we, visited the factories before we would, contract to make our products. And I went to Villa Capelli to meet with the guys, to talk about bringing the olive oil over. And I saw the way they press it, and I saw the orchard.
I love it. Yeah, that's on my travel list. I'm trying to convince Kristen to let me plan our honeymoon over there.
Oh God, you would love it. That is the coolest place.
I just want to hang with those guys too. They're just good
those
people.
Guys are awesome.
They're good people.
They're super good people. They're two of the nicest guys you'll ever meet.
Yeah. Let's shout out for them again. Shout out to Paul Capelli and Stephen Crutchfield, villacapelli.com. We love them.
Yeah, they are the coolest guys.
And I literally still do shots. After learning about shots of olive oil from Vinnie, I do it every day. So I'm that weird. And I also get very, very small shots with the D3. So because I can't get enough. So all right, well, listen, let's bring this podcast to an end. But our other shows, though, you've always closed out very similar way. But one thing that I've commented in the past on your past episodes was you have unofficially, I'm going to go ahead and make it official, become a bit of a vitamin supplement guru. So usually you close out the show with our final words with something, motivational and inspirational. You always pick something about, don't give up, stuff like that. But in this situation, I would actually make a special request is, from everything you've learned, is there any kind of final words you want to help the healthy, fit person listening to this, trying to find a better lifestyle, saying, I don't know, like some best practices, or like, hey, what are some things that they should be looking at when it comes to researching vitamins and supplements and stuff like that? Like, what do you think?
Yeah, super easy. Always, always, always read the entire ingredient list.
Not just the grid, right?
Right. I was just going to say there's the grid, which is going to show you what the actual nutritional information. If you're looking at vitamin D or a multivitamin, it's going to tell you, the measurements of all that. But on any given product like that, one of the real keys is what's under the box, under that table, and it's going to say other ingredients.
Well, one thing I love about you guys is you put, and that's actually, you call it the supplement facts section is the grid.
Right.
But you put the fine print on top. So you're not hiding anything.
We don't, look, unlike our B12 label, it kind of has to be fine print because the bottle is only this big, right? It's a tiny bottle. But one thing that we do is anybody who's ordered our products knows this. When you get a shipment from us, you don't just get the bottle because, if you're old like I am and you have, you can't see things up close without your glasses, you get a 4x6 folded up.
Yes. The little I call them marketing cards, but they're very helpful.
Marketing cards, because on that we can list all the ingredients in a way that you can actually read.
Yes, which I've always enjoyed.
Glasses. So that's important to us because we don't want, it's all about transparency. So back to, your request, I would say read the ingredients, read the supplement facts, read the other ingredients, and, do your homework. Do your homework. Read up on the actual forms. Every supplement, every mineral, every vitamin has different forms it comes in, and some of them are better than others. And look at what people are actually putting into your products. Because it's once you really start to pay it, it's like with food labels. People do it. We've gotten all better at reading our food labels. To see, does this have corn syrup? High fructose corn syrup. Does it have any of this junk in there?
Excess sugars.
But people don't look at their supplement ingredients. Do your research.
There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Read the fine print, not just on your food labels. Your supplementation, your vitamins, read the fine print, read that section. Some of them call it the other ingredient section. He's just told you guys that. So it doesn't need to be rocket science, but the more you read, the more you Google, the more informed of a consumer you are, and hopefully the healthier you are along your path. So, well, thank you, Andy. I appreciate that guidance.
Pleasure.
So,
thank you.
I knew you'd break it down to the basics. So
it's just, be an informed consumer.
There we go. Well, listen, hang tight. We'll give you a proper goodbye off the air, just like Vinny's style. But ladies and gentlemen, purevitaminclub.com. And now going overseas to the UK. So it's purevitaminclub.co.uk. So .co.uk, launching September 1st, 2018. Finally, very excited for these guys. But again, this is what we're all about, guys. We talk about health. We talk about business. We talk about lifestyle. Well, proper vitamins and proper supplementation, essential minerals, this is all part of that game. But you also got to hear a little bit about what the extra work is involved just to create a company to take it that seriously. And that's what Andy Schreiber and Vinnie Tortorich are doing. So thanks for tuning in to another powerful Live the Fuel podcast show. We'll talk to you guys again soon. And remember, you too can live the fuel. And you are clear of the pod.